comía más, el le iba a poder tomar. Juran que el mismo cielo se estremeció.
Yay, a lot of people are joining. Hi everyone. If you want to start just adding to the chat box a few things, just your name, or hi, Cheryl from Virginia. That's so funny. I lived in Maryland for a while. Almost neighbors. I'm so happy you're all joining me for this Spanish webinar. This is my first time presenting at an American conference. Long Beach, California. Nice. Hello, Cassandra. Hello, Emilio. Hello, Taylor, Kelly, Austin, Nadine, Maryland. Yay. Carly. Nice. Music teacher, Spanish-speaking students in Delaware. So exciting. I'm so happy some of you are actually music teachers for Spanish-speaking students specifically. Wonderful. I'm playing this beautiful song by Silvia Perez Cruz. She's the one arranging it right now, but it's a traditional Mexican song called Cucurrucucu, Paloma. And every time I sing it in my sessions, it's a hit because it's so soothing and nice. So I thought it would be nice to start with this song. We'll just give 3 more minutes or 2 more minutes to start. And yeah, you can just go ahead and download the handout. The link is right there. We'll be using that for 3 things specifically. And I encourage you to write notes on it if you have a printer. If not, just write notes on whatever you write notes on. And have your guitar handy if you want. We're gonna do some singing, some speaking, reading. I'm glad you like that song. The handout is right there, yeah. There's a link in the chat box. Let me see. Yeah, perfect. So Anela here from MusicWorks is helping me with some tech stuff, and she just posted the link for the handout. So just go to that link, and it's a PDF. You do not see the link. There you go. And we'll get started in 1 minute. Yay, great. Perfect. I'm glad you have it now. Technology. What a headache these days. Okay. Yeah, I'm so glad you're all here today. I'm gonna turn that song down. I think we can start our presentation. Yes, we are all learning, Cassandra. Hola a todos. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this webinar for Spanish-speaking sessions. I titled this webinar Spanish-speaking in for medical music therapists, but really all of what we're gonna see and what we're gonna go over is for any type of population, any type of setting. So yeah, this is gonna be great. My name is Patricia Sevener. I'm a music therapist from Madrid, Spain. I specialize in older adults and medical settings. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology and 2 master's degrees, one in psychogerontology and the other in music therapy. I have dual citizenship in the US and in Spain. My father's American and my mother is Spanish. They're both music lovers, so I was always raised listening to music in both languages and from many countries in the world. Ever since moving to San Diego, which was almost 2 years ago, I realized how valuable the Spanish language is here, and not only in our daily living, but also especially in our field. This is why I'm honored to hopefully shed some light in this topic that can be frustrating to many music therapists in the US today. So let's just dive in. I'm gonna share my presentation. You can take notes. I'm sorry I'm not able to share the slides of this presentation, but take as many notes as you want. And if you have any questions or anything to add, just use the chat box, the question and Q&A box as well, and we'll address them in the moment or later, depending. We'll just see what you all need. So here we go. Okay, so why should we as music therapists learn Spanish? The American Board of Medical Specialties defines medical professionalism as a belief system where professionals declare shared competency standards and ethical values. It's also what patients can and should expect from medical professionals. So you can see nowadays how a specific sector of this population in the US has been disproportionately affected by this pandemic. It's just one example of how Spanish speaking is very relevant in our field nowadays. You can see how most of these news headlines were at the beginning of the pandemic and how it was a struggle to inform Spanish-speaking patients or Spanish-speaking population in this country about such important things like a pandemic. So it's also the second most spoken language in the US. We're gonna look at some numbers real quick. Hispanic population is an 18% of the population here in the US. In this map, you can see how the relevance and proportion is higher in certain states like California, Texas, Florida. So those of you who live there have no excuse. Also, following the AMTA Code of Ethics, in order to provide quality care to our patients and clients, it is optimal to be able to communicate with our client or patient. And in a lot of cases, that means being able to speak in Spanish throughout the session. So, all these facts, I hope they're helpful to encourage you to speak Spanish or learn how to speak a little bit of Spanish for your sessions. Let's go to some pronunciation tips. Let's dive into Spanish right now. You won't come out of this short presentation learning how to speak Spanish like Antonio Banderas, but we're going to start with some basics. I want you to use the chat box right now. Let me just find that chat box. It disappeared on me. I want you to write in the chat box just 1 or 2 words in Spanish that you already know. There we go. There we go. Oh. Cantar, alegría. Okay, so keep writing. I love it. Keep writing some words there. I want you to read all these words out loud. Yay, I love it. Read it out loud. I'm not going to read them yet. I want you just to read it as loud as possible. Try to pronounce as well as you know. And just notice a few things of how you pronounce it. Just hear yourself saying these words. Beautiful. Notice each letter, how you say it and how you pronounce it. Beautiful. And now I want you to notice specifically the vowels in those words. Great. I'm going to read some words to see if you realize something. This is the basics of Spanish pronunciation. I'm going to read some words. Igual, cantar, alegría, musicoterapia, igualmente, mundo, flauta, bailar, relajado, por supuesto, hola, gracias, guitarra, trabajo, música. I love all these words. So did you notice anything specifically in the vowels? It's one of the most I don't know how to say it, but one of the best secrets. They are emphasized. Beautiful. So basics to Spanish pronunciation, open vowels. There we go. As you can see here in the presentation, I just wanted to emphasize how important it is to pronounce these vowels correctly because the most important thing is that, and the easiest thing about Spanish is that vowels are always pronounced one way only. So we're going to read the vowels. A. You can read out loud. A. E. I. O. U. And that's it. There's no more sounds to those vowels. That's the great thing about Spanish. If you think of names, for example, I don't know, someone write a typical name in a Spanish-speaking person. Typical Spanish name or Latin name. Arturo. Beautiful. It has 3 vowels, which is great. It's a great example. Maria. So as you can see, those vowels have no other hidden sounds. It's A, E, I, O, U. Nestor, Maria, Shimolet. I've never heard that one. That sounds a little bit French. I love it. Beautiful. So, Simolet. Interesting, your student's name. Okay. So that's the best thing about Spanish. Isn't it amazing? We're going to practice the best way I know of how to learn. Let me make this big again. There we go. So you can grab your guitars. This is a super simple song. We're going to practice our vowels with this song. It's called La Mar Estaba Serena. So you can grab your guitars. It's going to be A minor, D minor, and E major. Okay? Very easy. I can write those down for you just in case. A minor, D minor, and E major. There you go. I'm going to teach you the song. We're going to read those first 2 lines. La mar estaba serena, serena estaba la mar. And it just repeats over and over. This is also a great song if you want to write this down for interventions with kids, sessions with kids, even teens, even adults, because it's just a really funny song. So here we go. Strumming pattern. Here we go. La mar estaba serena, serena estaba la mar. estaba serena, serena estaba la mar. That's going to be the whole song. Now, this is going to be like a little game we're going to play here. We're going to change all the vowels to A. So we're going to pronounce those A's. Ah, ah. You want to spread that vowel. Ah, here we go. La mar estaba sarana, sarana estaba la mar. La mar estaba sarana, sarana estaba la mar. No other words, as you can see, just no other sounds, just the ah. Now we're gonna go with E, which is pronounced as an I. So it's gonna be A. I want you all singing in your homes. Here we go. Le mere steve serene, serene steve le mere. Le mere steve serene, serene steve le mere. How did that sound? I hope it sounded okay. No other sounds, just that E vowel. Now we're gonna go with I, which is pronounced as an E. So I want to see smiles. I can't see those smiles, sadly, but I want you all smiling at your homes and singing along with me. E, the vowel E. Li, mi, di, stivi, si, di, ni, si, di, ni, stivi, li, mi. Li, mi, di, stivi, si, di, ni, si, di, ni, stivi, li, mi. Wonderful. Now we're going to go with O, the O. This one we all know. It's no O, though. So we're just going to pronounce O, 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 O. Here we go. Lo moro stovo sorono, sorono stovo lo moro. Lo moro stovo sorono, sorono stovo lo moro. Wonderful. Now we're going to go with the last vowel. We're going to say U, the vowel U, which is pronounced as a oo, oo. So you're going to kind of look like a fish right now singing this song, which is appropriate because the name of the song is La mar estaba serena, which means the sea was serene. So we're going to be little fishies now singing Lumur. Everyone sing along. Lo moro stovo sorono, sorono stovo lo moro. Lo moro stovo sorono, sorono stovo lo moro. Okay, so how did that sound? Was anything difficult, anything particularly difficult? Any questions about vowels? Fun, okay, good. Feel free to use this in especially kids sessions. It's such a good song. If you have any Spanish speaking patients with kids or even the family, it's a great opportunity to pronounce those vowels. Okay. Yay, I'm glad you liked it. Bon. Okay, so besides pronunciation, it's basic to learn some vocabulary for your sessions. So this is when you're gonna go to the handout, to that link. I don't know if, Anola, maybe you can send it again just in case. There you go. So that's going to be the handout. We're going to be using this glossary of terms. I just thought of words and sentences that I usually use in sessions, specifically in medical settings. Again, we're going to use this chat box a lot in this section. So we're going to read through some of the terms, not all of them, because I don't want to bore you. But if you do read through the terms and just if you see anything that you would like me to pronounce specifically, we can go over that. Let me stop sharing this presentation and share the handout, just in case. There we go. So this is our glossary of terms. I divided it in 3 basic sections: greetings, assessment, and medical and music therapy terms. So let's just read a few of them. Let's see. You all know greetings. Hola, buenos días, buenas tardes. Remember, if you see that little accent there in buenos días, it's because that syllable has to be stressed. So that's where you emphasize the word. So días. And then someone wrote here in the chat, música, for example, it also has an accent. I think there's one right here. Here's an example. Here we go. Le gusta la música. So we're going to pronounce that, emphasize in the U, música. Let's see. Other terms, important terms. One very important for greetings is musicoterapia. It's kind of a difficult word for us music therapists. So when I go into buen día, beautiful. You can say buen día instead of buenos días. That's also perfect. When I go into a session and I introduce myself, me llamo Patricia, soy de musicoterapia. Practice that word. Or if you want to say I'm a music therapist, musicoterapeuta. So, soy musicoterapeuta. You can also just say musicoterapia, which is a little easier. Let's see. Questions, basic questions like if you have any pain, tiene dolor, ansiedad. Those are important words and terms for our field. Also, basic questions like if you like music, le gusta la música, qué tipo de música, what type of music, if they play any instruments, instrumentos. If you see any other terms that you would like to hear how their pronunciation goes. Another interesting word is chaplain. So this is a word that isn't really well known. So if you ask the patient if they've seen the chaplain, and you say capellán, remember the double L is pronounced as an elle, so it's capellán, capellán. Maybe they don't understand because that's not a typical word, so that's why I wrote up there padre or cura or sacerdote, which is priest. I know it's not the same thing. Or you can just say spiritual care, apoyo espiritual. Those are some basic terms. Can you think of anything that you use, any words or sentences that you use a lot in the session and you don't see it here? Write it in the chat box or in the Q&A box and we can go over it later. Getting patients to stop and start playing an instrument. That's a great one. So down here, I said something like that. Repeat after me, repita conmigo, or I'll follow you, yo le sigo a usted. So you can say toca, which means play. I'll write it here so you can make note. Toca means play. Wait, it auto-corrected. Toca, there you go. Toca. Toca means play. Beautiful. Anna will type them up. Oh, I love it. And then you can say sigue, which means keep going, sigue. Sing means canta. So canta. There you go. Canta. Of course, if you say something and you want to say, sing along with me, you can say canta conmigo, which is right here. Repita conmigo, or canta conmigo, or toca conmigo. Keep going, yes. Keep going means siga. You can just say siga. Okay. Just that one word means keep going. Or you can say continúe. Let me write it. Let me put my Spanish keyboard on, so you can see the accents as well. Continúe. Canta conmigo, there you go, siga, continúe, keep going. Okay. So if you have any questions, just write them down. This is just something basic, so you can have like a little cheat sheet if you want to take that into your sessions, just in case you kind of space out. I'm not able to see what you're typing. Oh no, okay. There we go. Now, continúe. Siga. Can you all see it now? Great, okay. Yeah, those are, do you know where you are? Ooh, that's a good one. Okay. Let's see, do you know where you are? That would be, ¿sabes dónde estás? ¿Sabes is do you know? ¿Sabes dónde estás? There you go. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, let me go to the Q&A box real quick. Oh, that's a good one, Carly. Do you need a break? Yes, we're gonna answer this live. Oh. 1 second. Carly, let me see. Oh no, it disappeared. I'm sorry. Do you need a break? I'll write it in the chat box. It would be necesitas un descanso. And this is a good opportunity for me to explain to you guys that I am from Spain, so my accent might be a little bit different. And some words I use are a little bit different, but seriously, I've worked with mainly Mexican patients and clients, and for like 2 years now, and I've never had any problem communicating. So the only thing is that the C's and the Z's, I pronounce it instead of a S, like they pronounce it. So for example, basic example would be gracias. I pronounce it gracias instead of gracias. So if you hear something a little different, just know that I pronounce those C's a little different, but let me see. Is it okay if I say to you, help with relaxation? That's a good sentence. To ask if something is okay, you can start the question with puedo, which is may I or can I. Puedo cantar a su bebé para ayudar con a relajar. Ayudar con la relajación. I'm gonna read this out loud slowly. I love it. You're really giving me some work right now. There we go. So that would be that sentence, Laurel. Puedo cantar a su bebé, which means can I sing to your baby? Para ayudar, to help, con la relajación, or relajación. which would be the Latin accent, relajación. Okay, I don't want to go over time on this. I know we could go on forever, but if you have any others, just write them in the Q&A. I know there's another one by Austin, so I'll just answer those at the end. So we'll go over those again. Okay. Yay. Let me share again my presentation. Here we go. Oops. Okay, wonderful. So now we're going to dive into some intervention ideas for your Spanish-speaking sessions. I wrote down 4 by goals or symptoms or needs. So if you have any other ideas, I had to pick a few and not go over all of them, but we're going to start with patients dealing with anxiety. This is a guided relaxation script, and if you go to your handout that Angela shared with you, below the glossary of terms, I think it's on the 3rd or 2nd page, there's this guided relaxation first in Spanish and then in English in red. So I'm just gonna read over it, play some relaxing music to it. I made this script thinking about terms that I always use in any type of relaxation, even though this is just a specific relaxation, but if you have any other terms that you use a lot in a relaxation or you want to do some other type of script, just write it again in the chat box. So I'm going to read real slow just so that you can get a sense of what it sounds like. Le invito a que se coloque lo más cómodo posible en este momento y empieza a respirar hondo. Puede cerrar los ojos, respire hondo por la nariz y expire por la boca. Inspira y expira. Sienta cómo sus hombros son cada vez más ligeros. Sienta su cuerpo y recolóquese si lo necesita. Inspire e imagínese un lugar que le haga sentir seguro y en paz. Puede ser real o imaginario. Fíjese en los colores de este lugar. Mire el paisaje, respire la belleza. Escuche si hay sonidos en este lugar. Puede ser agua fluyendo, pájaros cantando, el viento. Cualquier sonido que le haga sentir aún más seguro. Imagínese extendiendo su mano y sintiendo algo que está cerca suya. A lo mejor es hierba, arena o pelaje suave. Puede que sienta el sol en su piel o una brisa leve. Inspire y disfrute esa sensación. Huela el aire en este lugar, quizás la lluvia que acaba de caer o la brisa del mar, unas flores en el campo. Sienta con todos sus sentidos. Permítase sentirse más relajado, conectado con este lugar. ¿Se siente agradecido por tener este lugar? Puede volver en cualquier momento que lo necesite. Empiece a mover poco a poco distintas partes de su cuerpo hasta que abra los ojos y vuelva al presente. sintiéndose igual de seguro y en paz como en su lugar favorito. So that's going to be a guided relaxation script in Spanish. If you were reading through the part in English, maybe you have some words or specific things that you usually say in a relaxation that you didn't find there, so just feel free to add it to the chat box or the Q&A box, just so that it's a little more. Here we go. Okay, thank you everyone for bearing with me with the tech difficulties. We're gonna go to an intervention idea for patients dealing with to encourage self-expression, and of course, as we all know, this is great for songwriting. So this is just one example of one songwriting idea that I use a lot in hospitals. It's a great opportunity to include the family or loved ones of the patient. It's called Gracias a la Vida, as you can see right here, which means thanks to life. And it's a song by Mercedes Sosa. I'm pretty sure she's Mexican. She has beautiful songs, and this is a famous song that also Joan Baez covered, so you might, it might sound familiar. So it's a great opportunity to bring positivity, thankfulness into the session. I use this a lot in end-of-life sessions with the families as well. So if you want to write down something you're thankful for right now, I'm just going to do 2 or 3, but just write it down in the chat. And I'm going to include this in our songwriting activity. So, gracias a la vida, it goes something like this. If you write down something you're thankful for right now, I'll try to include it in the song. Here we go. Gracias a la vida que me ha dado tanto, me ha dado familia y una buena casa y mucha salud y un marido bueno y más familia que yo adoro. We're gonna go with thankful for friendships, music. My dog, I love it. Here we go. Gracias a la vida que me ha dado tanto, me ha dado música y también amigos, también comida que está tan rica y un perro que adoro, a dog I adore, and yummy food is what I said. So here we go. That's a songwriting activity. Oh, beautiful. Thank you all for sharing. I'm thankful to have this space to share my ideas with you. So it's a simple, what are the chords? A minor, D minor, gracias a la vida, D minor, que me ha dado tanto, back to A minor, me ha dado familia, G7, y una buena casa, C. También comida, F, or it can be a D minor. También comida. How do you say, what are you grateful for in your life? That's a good one. I think I put it in the next activity, but it's going to be something like, ¿por qué estás agradecido? I'm going to write it down. ¿Por qué estás agradecido? ¿Por qué estás agradecido? Or to make it a little more simple, grateful is agradecido. To make it a little more simple, you can say something like, ¿a qué le das las gracias? That's a little more simple. ¿A qué le das las gracias? What do you want to say thank you to? Would be that next one. So also, this is a pretty famous song. So if you just type in, if you didn't write those chords down, if you just type in Gracias a la Vida chords by Mercedes Sosa or even the Joan Baez cover, you'll find the chords right there. And it's a really great songwriting activity. Yeah, of course, Amy. So that's our songwriting. For patients dealing with isolation, which is so important nowadays, isolation, boredom, lacking social interaction, I've been including a lot just therapeutic singing these days, and to encourage participation in the patients, especially during virtual sessions. It's kind of frustrating because you don't get that much engagement and participation. So what I've been doing is using a lot of call and response songs. So one example of this is Allá en el Rancho Grande, which is a super fun song. It's just a really happy song, and it's a ranchera, which we're gonna go over this seeing the repertoire, but it's just a type of Mexican music, and it's basically what mariachis sing. So if you go to a Mexican restaurant and there's mariachis singing, they'll probably be singing rancheras, which is a type of song that goes like this. It follows this strumming pattern. So you play the bass and the chord. So this is a ranchera. We're gonna go over this one song really quick. It's called Allá en el Rancho Grande. Take note of this because it's a hit. Every time I sing it in a group, in a family session, when they want something really upbeat, this is great. And I'm gonna sing the chorus, and then we're gonna go into the verse, which is the part we're saying on the screen here. And you can follow me just singing. And the response game is that like one patient sings a part in black, and then the group responds with the part in yellow. So it's gonna go something like this. I'm gonna do both sides. Allá en el rancho grande, allá donde vivía. You can encourage a group or patient to say, ay, 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 ay. Había una rancherita que alegre me decía, que alegre me decía. And here they say, te voy a hacer unos calzones. The group answers, ¿de qué? De los que usa el ranchero. De los comienzo de lana y luego de los termino de cuero. Allá en el rancho grande, allá donde vivía, había una rancherita que alegre me decía, que alegre me decía. Super easy song. What does it mean? That's a good one. Allá en el Rancho Grande means they're in the big ranch. And the verse, I don't really know what they want to say, but it's just about how someone is making for this other person, like the mariachi dressing. So what they typical wear. What they wear typically. Sorry. And it's just 2 chords, C and G7. So take note of that song because it's always a hit. Very uplifting. Great to encourage call and response and participation. Wonderful. Okay, next, the last one I thought about was family support. So at the hospital, I do quite often some end-of-life sessions. And I just wanted to give you a couple of basic questions that I use at the beginning of the legacy project with Spanish-speaking families or patients. It's very basic, so if you think of any other questions, yeah, I meant de que. Oh, sorry, Bon, I just went through that. Oh yeah, that, so in Spanish, the question marks and exclamation points, there's always two. One at the beginning, which is like backwards, and one at the end. So just so you know, that's what that meant. I can go back so we can take a look at it. This one right here. Right there, the same as the question marks. Okay? Okay. So end of life sessions, you can use some of these basic questions. Go to your handout, and that's going to be the last page on there. Let me see. Let me go. Okay, end of life sessions. So one, if you go to the handout, sorry, I'm not sharing. You see some of these questions you can use for a legacy project, just basic. You can start with, tell me about this person. Cuénteme sobre José. Remember those vowels? There's no Jose, it's just José. That's it. So practice those vowels again, those accents. Cuénteme. ¿Cómo le describe? How would you describe him? ¿Qué es lo que más le gusta? What's your favorite thing about him? And then something that a patient or the family of a patient told me in an end of life session, they didn't want to talk a lot because they were in a very delicate situation. So the only thing that they told me they would like to hear in this song that we were making up together is Vivirá en nuestros corazones, which means you will always live in our hearts. And I just provided some comforting chords, and I just sang that in a loop. And at one point, after a while, the family started singing that sentence. So you don't even have to write down a bunch of words, or even if they don't really want to talk that much, you can just encourage them to say just one thing and then improvise from there. And of course, you always have your phone handy if you can, and Google it if you don't know how to say it or what it means. Okay, let me go back to my presentation, which disappeared. There we go. How would you introduce a heartbeat recording? That's such a good question, Laurel. I've actually never had the opportunity to use this. But I think just by the sound of the word heart in Spanish, I think that's something you could work with. So if you don't know how to say it, it's corazón or corazón. And corazón, 3 syllables. Corazón, corazón. I don't know. I have to think about that. But thank you, Laurel. Maybe Jose, for example, that's a name we were talking about. If his name or her name has 2 syllables, maybe you can use that. I don't know. If anyone has any ideas, feel free to put it in the chat box. But I'll think about that one. Okay. So that could be an end of life session or a legacy project with some Spanish-speaking families or patients. If you have any questions, just write it down. We're going to go over, this is going to be our last section of the presentation. We're going to go over through some repertoire, which is sort of a frustrating topic for a lot of people. I also wrote down in the handout a blog post that you can check out. It's from one of our former interns, and she kind of talks about cultural factors in Spanish-speaking countries, how there's so many different countries and cultures in Spanish-speaking places that it's just really hard to think of a top 10 or a top 5 even. So I just sort of thought of 12 songs. I hope that's not too much. I started this presentation writing down like 5 songs per each type of song. And it's just, I thought it was too much. I've been told that less is more sometimes. So it was really hard to pick. But these are just some examples. I didn't want to write down the songs that you all might know already, like Cielito Lindo or Bésame Mucho. I wanted to write down something a little different that might be new to you. And these go by population served. So you have a couple examples for older adults. As I was saying before, there's rancheras, which is that the Rancho Grande song that I did. And it's that type of rhythm. Or it can also be like a waltz rhythm, like Cielito Lindo. That's also a ranchera. And then there's boleros, which basically means like a slow romantic song. And whenever I go into a hospital room and I see it's an older adult, I usually ask them, if they don't tell me like a specific song or a specific artist they like, I usually give them a clue and ask them if they like if they want to hear a ranchera or a bolero. So that's a good cue just to know what the patient might want to hear at that moment. And then there's spiritual songs, of course, that you can use with any population. I just wrote down 2 very different songs, Dios está aquí, which is like a slower song. I use this a lot co-treating with chaplain at the hospital. And then Alabaré is more of an upbeat spiritual song. So those are very different depending on the situation and the patient. And then, of course, adults also listen to more generalized like Latin music, not if they're Mexican, for example. Older adults tend to like more Mexican music, traditional Mexican music. Adults have listened to a more variety of music, so I put there some basic Latin songs. One is also really upbeat and the other one is really slow. La vida es un carnaval. Life is a Carnival is a very upbeat and uplifting song, and Amor Eterno is a very kind of a sad song, a slow song, but a lot of Spanish-speaking patients and clients know this song, so, or might know it. And then I haven't worked with Spanish-speaking teens a lot, but just so you know what they usually listen to in Latin or Hispanic countries, there's a lot of reggaeton, which you probably all know what it is. It's more of a dancing song, of course, and cumbia, which is also a type of dance. And those are just 2 examples of what reggaeton sounds like and what cumbia sounds like. So you can just get a feel of the rhythm. Reggaeton is so it's a bum, ba-da-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. That's a reggaeton. And cumbia is a little slower in general, but yeah, just listen to the songs, get a feel of what they sound like. And then for kids, La Mar Estaba Serena, which we already saw. It's a very fun song. And then Un Elefante Se Balanceaba is a great song for kids that are learning how to count, for example, because you start saying un elefante and then you say dos elefantes, tres elefantes. So that's another good example. And also, I just wanted to tell you all that with MusicWorks, I'm a MusicWorks employee, and we're working on Canciones con Paty, which is a series of videos, video tutorials to teach, we haven't decided yet, but 1 or 2 songs per month. And I go over pronunciation, I teach the song, the chords. Yeah, NLS says it right there. It will be coming out very soon. And yeah, Whitney. So we're gonna go over through a lot of Spanish, not Spanish repertoire, but repertoire in Spanish. So yeah, just follow us. It's gonna be on the Music Therapy and Wellness Hub. And we're gonna go over a lot of songs there. So also next week I'll be leading a Spanish jam session. So we're gonna sing a lot of songs in Spanish there. Yeah, and so that would be it, everyone. I know time flew by, at least to me. I was worried about timing, but I hope this was helpful to everyone. I'm trying to go to the Q&A box right now. I don't know why it disappeared on me. Thank you everyone. This was my first American conference presentation, so I'm excited. Norteñas, Laurel, that's such a good idea. Norteñas is there an age group? Yes. I think in my experience, mainly adults. As for norteñas, which is just a type of music from a specific region in Mexico. I'm trying to think of any examples right now, but I'll have to look that up. If you all want, I'm just trying to go to that Q&A box, but I can't find it. So it's not. Let me see. I'm gonna stop the share. Okay, here we go. Is there a way we could get the link to the PowerPoint itself? I'm gonna try to do that since I use Paty. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's a different type of presentation software, and I wasn't able to download it, but I will try to download that and get that to you guys. And if not, I can just break it down into slides and share that. Any advice for navigating patient responses after prompting with a question you've learned to say in Spanish, but you don't necessarily know enough Spanish to interpret their answer? Oh my God, yes, that is such a good question. I would say ask them to go speak really slow and just pick up a few like key words they're trying to say and just look them up in the moment on your iPad or on your phone. Or interpret their answer, incorporate into a song. Yeah, that's my only advice. Is also very important to learn a language. It's always like listening to that language, and what help a lot of students the most is listening to music in that language, watching movies in that language. Just immerse yourself totally in Spanish, and that will help you get a little more sense of the accent of each word so you can understand a little better. But yeah, just try to get those key words and try to translate it on your phone or on your iPad.
Hey, Paty, can I jump in with something
Yes.
really quickly? Because I'm not a fluent Spanish speaker, so I can speak to this question because I work with a lot of Spanish-speaking patients as well. A lot of times I'll ask very specific prompts rather than leaving it very open-ended, because sometimes I can understand a lot, but there might, depending on, you know, how fast the patient speaks, or if their speech is kind of muffled, it might be difficult to understand what they're saying. So I try to ask very specific questions, like in a spiritual support or end of life type of session, I'll ask, what do you need from God today? You know, ¿Qué necesitas a Dios? And then they'll respond maybe with one-word answers that I can easily include in a chant. Like maybe they say, necesito fuerza, I need strength, or necesito paz, I need peace. That's a really easy way for me to interact and get responses for them in a way that I can understand and digest.
Yeah, that's great, Anola. As short as, if you can get short answers, the better. Géneros. Okay, so Miriam is asking what type of genres patients from the US and Spain might ask for. Yeah, they're very different, Miriam. When I moved, I was working as a music therapist in Spain first for 2 years, and when I moved to the US, although I already had a lot of repertoire in English because of my father, I had to expand that repertoire immensely. So it is very different. In Spain, not a lot of people listen to country music or blues, which is basic here. So it can be very different. In Spain, they listen to a lot of pop music, Latin music, jazz even. So yeah, it can be very, very different. I don't know if there's any other questions. I know we're on our hour mark. So if you have anything else, feel free to reach me. I read it in the presentation, but I'll write it again on this chat box just in case. This is my work email, so feel free to reach me about any questions during this presentation. Thank you so much, everyone. Yeah, just practice a lot, listen to a lot of Spanish, and let me know how it goes. Of course. Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining me. Gracias. Hasta la próxima. Until next time.